Welcome to the Creative Crafters podcast. I have a very special guest today, Katie Adams. Katie's been on a lot of our summits, and I just love her work. Katie is the creative mind behind the Crafty Blog Stalker, a site dedicated to do-it-yourself and craft enthusiasts. With step-by-step tutorials and innovative ideas, she makes crafting accessible to everyone. Katie's passion extends beyond her blog, engaging with followers through her social media and crafting events. And she has created a loyal following of fellow craft enthusiasts. So welcome, Katie. So
Well,
please
thank
tell the
you.
listeners who you are and all about your company.
Okay, well, my name is Katie Adams, and I am the owner and creator behind the website, The Crafty Blog Stalker, which is a tutorial-based website where I walk through step-by-step how to do all sorts of fun crafting projects, from jewelry making, home decor, paper crafts, Cricut, of course. And yeah, really just, and some recipes in there, not quite as many recipes, but a few. But really anything DIY that I can incorporate a tutorial along with, I will do that on my website. And I currently have over 800 tutorials on my website.
Oh my gosh, 800. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I've been blogging since 2011 and have been putting out tutorials ever since. So
What's your most passionate part? Which is your favorite part of your DIY?
oh, that's hard to answer because my favorite part of it is just crafting in general. I love to be able to get my hands on something and turn it into something else. But I'd have to say my most favorite part, and the part that I try to pass on to my readers, is the end, when you can show to somebody, look what I made. I love the feeling that that gives. It's such an empowering feeling to be able to say, look what I made. It's the best part.
Yeah. And I would show up at, listeners can't see this. You did an ornament last year using the UV activated resin.
Yes.
I
Yep.
had to try it immediately. That is such an amazing project.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
So, when did you become interested in doing the craft rather than going down the normal people would do?
Well, I have been crafting, honestly, my whole life, ever since I can remember. Probably one of my first crafting techniques that I picked up was cross stitching. And I remember making a cross stitch for my grandma when I was like 8 years old that she proudly displayed in her bedroom. But even before that, I remember this is the entrepreneurship part of me, but I remember even being really young in grade school and making like little coat tags that you could hang on your coats just out of cardboard or whatever. And I'd laminate them to try and make them really thick, and I'd sell them to my classmates. So this was when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. So I have always been crafty. I've always just loved to make things with my hands.
Yeah, that's so fun. And what about messy crafts? Do you do a lot of what I call messy crafts?
I do. I love glitter, and I know some people won't touch glitter with the 9-foot pole because it stays around. But I definitely consider glitter a messy craft, and I use it quite a bit. But I also love to paint. Is there something more specific that you think of when you think of messy crafts, Bette?
I think of like paper mache, clay, glue, things you can just dig your hands into and shape and do different things. So I'm not too sure if you've done any of those.
Yes, absolutely. I have done all of those things. I really like the Fimo, the bake clay that you can form and then you bake it and it becomes permanently in that shape. I've done several tutorials with that. Mod Podge if you are a crafter, you have to have Mod Podge in your collection. So yes, I've worked with that as well.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm playing around with different ways of using, believe it or not, fondant molds with different materials. So tell us a little bit about how you got into resin.
Resin is actually pretty new for me. I've only been working with resin for about a year.
So when you're imagining a project, what's sort of your process? Where do you get your ideas?
That's really hard because I get ideas from everywhere. My favorite place to go and just walk around would be Hobby Lobby, because I feel like at Hobby Lobby, you can really just see what's trending. You see a lot of lemons on projects, lemons are trending. Same with flamingos, or even the style, the types of fonts that people are looking for in their home decor. So a lot of the times I will go to Hobby Lobby, not even to buy stuff for a specific project, but just to walk around and feel all of the home decor goodness around me and just get inspired. But a lot of the time, I just get inspired by things around me. In the early days, it was a lot on Pinterest, but I go to Pinterest more to work now than to get inspired, because I post a lot to Pinterest. But a lot of the times when I'm out and I just happen to see something at a store, and I'll see it and be like, oh, that's cute, but I could make that a lot cuter. And so that's really where I find my inspiration from, is just being out.
Yeah, I even do things like I'll pick up a copy of Good Housekeeping just to see what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the fall season, they have great magazines on Halloween and decor and all kinds of other stuff. So
Absolutely.
once you get your idea, so how do you put that into a process so you end up with a design and where you're going to go with it?
Well, this part kind of drives my husband nuts, because I can look at something and just automatically know what I need to do to achieve that product or project. And that's kind of why it drives my husband nuts, because we remodeled our kitchen about 2 years ago, and I knew exactly what I wanted and how it was all going to look. And I'd pick out the knobs and he'd go, but how do you know that that'll match with the doors that we've already picked out, but we haven't put them together yet? And it's because I can just see it in my mind. I'm one of those lucky people that can just see every step of the process before I actually do it. And I really find that helpful, because then when I'm creating those tutorials that I have on my website, that is exactly what I recreate, is those steps that I saw in my mind beforehand, because the steps that I saw, I'm hoping will be helpful for steps for other people to see to make that project, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I love the fact that you can match those things ahead of time. That's a skill not a lot of people have.
It is. It really is. And I really do feel lucky and blessed, because I do have that capability, just to be able to see it in my mind's eye without it being right in front of me.
So I know where you get your inspiration and your ability to put things together, but part of that creative process is trying to figure out how you can show people to do it, because you have the skill. You've got to bring it to us in some way. And you mentioned all the tutorials that you have. So what's your real favorite thing on your website that people should do right away if they want to connect with you?
Ooh, that's hard. Like, what's my favorite project that people should recreate? Oh my goodness, that is a hard one, because every season I have a new favorite. It's usually my most recent favorite project, or my most recent project that's my favorite project. Since we're kind of getting into the Halloween time, I purchased one of those big light up pumpkins at Walmart. It's just a big hard plastic light up pumpkin. It's already painted and everything. And a really fun thing I did with that one is I made it a little bit more spooky. I took my drill and drilled holes into it just around the eyes and around the nose and the mouth, around the opening. And then I stitched it and added a little bit of black paint to it. So it just looked a little bit more creepy. So that's probably my current favorite project. But my favorite Cricut Halloween project, I have a 41-inch skeleton that I made with my maker that only cuts on 12 by 12. But I show how to make a 41-inch skeleton with my Cricut maker. And now if you have the Cricut Venture, which cuts the 24 inches, you could make that even larger. That's on my project list, but I haven't done that one yet. But
Oh,
yeah.
that sounds like a fabulous one. So listeners, if you're listening and this is before Halloween, make sure you head to Katie's website, find out all about this skeleton. It sounds fabulous.
Well, thank you. It's a really popular project and it's a lot of fun to make.
I imagine it is. So what advice would you give someone who's interested in doing what you do?
I would say just start. You know, I like to call myself a professional crafter, and that's more a self-title than given to me. But because I know so many different techniques and types of crafts that I feel like that title fits. But to get to the professional crafting level, I really just had to make. I had to teach myself. I am 12 years into my website, and truth be told, sometimes there's a project I really want to make, but I don't know how to make it. So I will go to YouTube or whatever, search it up and learn how to make it so that then I can teach my readers how to make I never copy, but how to make something similar using the same technique. So even though I'm 12 years in, I am still learning new techniques and new ways to do things. So it really is just getting in and doing it, and you'll learn as you go.
Yeah, no kidding, because new things happen. There's new products, there's new ways of doing things, there's new
Absolutely.
machines. So it's lifelong learning being in this craft business. And as you say, as a professional crafter, and there are a few, and you definitely are one with all the different things that you've been doing.
Well, thank you.
You got to start somewhere. So start at the beginning, go to Katie's website and start right there. So Katie, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you and get on your email list?
The best way to get a hold of me is just directly on my website. It's thecraftyblogstocker.com. And stalker is STALKER. A lot of people ask me that. It is the creepy way that you spell stalker, but I am not creepy, I promise. And right on my website, there are ways to sign up for my email list where I regularly email out free SVGs that I create for projects. And I also share my latest projects as well.
That is absolutely perfect. So this has been the Creative Crafters podcast and our special guest, Katie Adams. Make sure you go to the Crafty Blog Stalker, STALKER.com, and get on her mailing list. I mean, this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you, Bette.